Hi, my name is Razin, Gemologist trainee.
I'm Eva, founder of Inari Jewellery.
My name is Derek, the person who's running Fine Metal Studio.
And today we're gonna talk about gemstone and jewelry industry.
What's your sentiment about this industry? Is it very new? Is it still comparable to?
Wow. In my view, the jewelry industry, it's like very disparate, I think is the word. So there's the old world where it's like the older generation jewelers who will make everything by hand and they run goldsmith shops or they're behind the scene, right? They don't do the business side of things. So they usually like sell older kind of, I guess, designs, not so modern designs, not so many options, not a lot of innovation going on there, but that is like, the standard. That's the gold standard of Malaysia right now. And then there is the, smaller brands that buy and sell mainly from, buy and sell from larger manufacturers, not using gold, but like other materials that are more affordable to the market. So there's not a lot of like artisanal stuff. I feel that it's a bit more modern in the industry. It's still very much either, you get a manufactured kind of goods or you get very traditional handmade stuff. That is my view lah. Yeah, but what do you think?
Well, I think our jewelry industry right now, we're at a phase where it's quite interesting if you compare back with like 10 years ago. The past 10 years, I've seen birth of like many new designers, jewelry makers. So there are lots of jewelry artisans who have like set up their own brands. So it's really inspiring to see so many different artisans coming up with their own ideas. Everyone have their own niche.
You've seen a lot more.
That's right.
And I think it's because probably because
it's more
like,
interesting, right?
you see a lot of jewelry designers because you train them and coach them as well, right? So you see that they come out and do. Whereas like for me, if I didn't like learn from you, I wouldn't have known so many art, right?
Yes.
So that's why in my view, like there's actually a gap. Yeah, because I don't see what you see also, which is quite interesting.
That's right. So at the studio as well, because everyone like come and work at the same time, but everyone is like working on different projects. So we kind of like inspire each other, right? Yeah. So and everyone would kind of like go around and kind of like, oh, what are you making? It's like, oh, wow, I want to do that next, and it becomes like everyone kind of like inspires each other. So and the benchmark is like kind of like set higher and higher each time, and I'm really happy how our jewelry industry in market here have evolved over the years.
This recent year have made the whole process more transparent. So from consumer point of view, they will become more attached to every personal story that each brand brings to the table. So I think that's really transforming the whole industry.
For us, like jewelry is like it's quite difficult for us to get gemstone as well. You see, we always have to go to Bangkok, or travel. We have to get stone.
Okay.
This is a problem for us, or even the Petaling Street.
Talking about gemstones, we're more concerned about how the stone is genuine or not. So it's a question of age. Nowadays, of course, people are getting more interested to tell the differences. If my jewelry heirloom is it like a real thing or not?
So the awareness, we need to educate people about awareness.
Yeah, definitely. And then give them more choices. So if they prefer more something like man-made, yeah, it is okay. Like it's up to them. So I think as long as people have that option, it will be better.
It's down to the education piece as well, right? Because I think like I don't know, like in my view, it's always like, oh, it needs to be natural, but people always think lab grown is like a bad thing, it's fake. But actually, if you really understand the science behind it and the make of lab, and we're moving towards like ethical sort of options, right? And like moving away from harmful,
Ecologically
yeah,
friendly as
yeah.
well.
So
Sustainable.
so at the end of the day, it's more education that I think is also missing in Malaysia. Yeah, people always have this preconceived notion of what their parents passed down to them. Oh, diamond is great, like, or like, oh, 916 gold is the best. Do you know, it's what, like a generational belief that has been passed down rather than actually, what
You really like.
we really like, yeah, and actually being educated by those choices to make your own choices. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think nowadays people are more aware. Yeah, so people are like they have more options as well. So, and basically, when you talk about mine gems or you talk about lab-grown gems, there is a market for both.
Yeah.
So it depends on what you believe in as well. Yeah, and if you compare, the properties is also kind of like similar,
It's half the cost.
and is half the cost or even, yeah, maybe.
Maybe one third of the cost or
Yeah.
1/4.
Yeah, but of course, mine gems is also nice.
Has its own.
Yeah, has its
right?
own
Yeah.
value,
Yeah, at the
natural.
end of the day,
yeah.
but it depends
I
on
love
what
both.
you want.
Yeah, I love both. Ever since I got to, learning with fine metal studio about metal clay, I find it's very interesting because it's with, the advancement of technology. So it allows us to work with clays and very, like I can fire the stone together with the clay.
But the technology is really new, right?
It's not new. I mean, metal clay is basically a technique which have I think it was invented in the early 1990s. So it's been around for almost 28 years now. Yeah. So art clay, silver, and the PMC brand. These are the first two brands in metal clay. There are more techniques which are being introduced to make jewelry making more fun, more interesting, accessible, and easier. Yeah, there are things which some techniques some jewelry you cannot really make it with metal smithing. You can actually use like metal clay technique to make it. The same goes for some. It's easier, like for like stone setting is definitely easier to do in metal smithing. Yeah, metal clay probably have a little bit of a limitation. You still can do, but
harder.
yeah.
More technique involved, I think. No, I agree, right? I think like it's nice to see innovation and accessibility slowly entering into the Malaysian market. Like if it's not for Fine Metal Studio, I probably wouldn't have known that technique, and I probably wouldn't have been able to say yes to a lot of like custom orders, because, like you say, right, there are limitations to some more traditional metal smithing techniques. You need to either have like specific tools or you need to have specific like skill set to be able to do it very nicely. But like art clay allows you to combine your creativity with a new technique that allows you to be more creative without that barrier of like saying, oh, you must have learned level 5 or level 20 of metal smithing and you need like machine X, Y, Z. Do you know?
Anyone can do it, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And so it really boils down to like your creativity.
Yes.
And
it can
yeah.
be done within shorter time, right? The technique, or not necessarily.
Well, it depends on your design.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it depends on the design and the level of difficulty. It can be very simple. You can make jewelry with metal clay in as quick as like half an hour, or it can be something which takes months to complete if it's a very, very complicated design, right?
How should we all promote artisan, And because I believe like what you say is like people is still like cost conscious about, they compare like what artisan craft.
I think it's more towards your arsenal.
My arsenal, wow. Actually, I think it's gotten a lot better also now because of social media and what digitalization has enabled us to do that, right? Because I think back in the days where everything is like physical shop and there's like proper paper advertising or media advertising, you don't really have the access to like social media, but social media really changed the game, right? It's down to like whether the brand owners or whatever take the initiative to invest their time into social media, because now you can show the behind the scenes. You can tell your story. You can carve out a space for yourself. A lot of people, when I started this brand, it was like, oh, you didn't do your research, did you? You're going into a very saturated market. But I personally think actually there's a lot of room for growth. There's room for the traditional players to be in there. There's room for mass production. Yeah, there's room for like, artisanal, handcrafted goods. There's room for everything. It's just how you carve out that market for yourself and how you stay true to your lane. It's so easy because of social media that you see, oh, player 1 is doing this, so I need to follow to do this. Player 2 is doing this, I need to do that, right? Then you kind of like lose track of what your purpose is and what your brand vision is. So coming back to your question is, how do we promote? I think it's two-way, right? One, as an artisan yourself, there are a lot of opportunities for you to use social media and actually put your word out there. Yes, it takes a lot of time. Yes, it is very painful. But at the end of the day, it's there. Compared to like 20 years ago where, there's no TikTok, there's no Instagram, there's none of this. You don't even have that option. So I think it's actually a lot easier now to be able to put yourself out there. But that's, of course, from your perspective. But I think the other great thing is, you might not be able to get, the government to do something now, but like, hey, this is how small businesses collaborate together, or like businesses collaborate together to share awareness. And the great thing about the community is that people are willing to help each other out, because we all know how hard it is, right? Yeah. And it's nice to see that, you build your own little community to help promote each other's work to the market. So I think there's a lot more potential for us to tap on, and us doing this in itself, it's a great opportunity for, the wider audience to be able to look into the artisanal world and like be aware that, hey, there's actually this alternative market. Yeah, and when you appreciate more and you educate more, then people can make a better judgment in terms of what they want to spend their money on. Not everybody wants to buy artisanal good, which is fine. But hey, at least people know why it costs a certain amount, why it takes that long, and what you're trying to put out there. So that's my point of view.
When I first started out, my family members and my friends, they sent me pictures of their gemstones, and they told me that, what kind of gemstone is this, or like, is this real or not? Getting in this business and getting the exposure about your business made me realize that actually there are a lot of people interested in gemstones, but they don't actually have their...
People love gemstones. Beautiful things. I mean, who wouldn't?
They just doesn't have like a proper channel to us to share. So I think by doing this also we can like help each other out, maybe like share.
Malaysia, needs to have more of these communities get together. I believe our people is very shy. We don't it's part of our culture as well. We are not like that love to mingle.
But some people that I know is very exclusive in this industry, and that's okay. But I think like towards future, like new generation, I think we become a lot more like sharing.
It's more of a sharing community days now. You see, even right.
So short question: what is your favorite gemstone?
For me, I love sapphires. I love pearls. Yeah, I just
Favorite gemstone.
my favorite.
Just one.
Yeah. Okay. My favorite gemstone is sapphire.
Good taste. My favorite, I think everybody knows. Opal. Yeah. Yours?
My favorite is also opal because it's my birthstone, October. But I also like the color green, so emerald. So there are two ways.
One. Just one. No, it's good that you like opal, so that when he saws for opal, I have a choice too.
Yeah, but actually I prefer more like a blue opal compared to white. But recently I fell in love with Paraiba tourmaline.
Oh yeah,
because of the color, but it's quite rare and expensive. So
to get it,
at
the perfect condition.
Yeah.
Sekian, terima kasih.
Sekian, terima kasih. Bye.